I've had a number of comments from people who are having difficulty getting their pump to work properly, so let's look at how the pump works. If you're running the hoses up over the sides of the cold plunge, as I show in my first video, your setup probably looks like this. When you first turn on the pump, it's going to have difficulty pulling the water up over the sides because it's not primed, meaning the pump is mostly full of air instead of water and it can't get enough suction. You need to lift the input hose up and fill it with water, while also taking the top off the pump and adding water to it. This is a lot easier with 2 people. And lifting the pump up a little will keep the water from overflowing. Then screw the top back on the pump, turn the pump on, and quickly set it back down. This should push out most of the air and allow the pump to start pulling water. Once it gets going, you'll be in good shape. You can also bleed air out of the pump every once in a while. Turn the pump off and loosen the screw on top until you hear air bubbles gurgling out. When water starts seeping out, screw it back shut. This process works, and I ran my cold plunge that way for months, but it's kind of a pain. So if you run your hoses over the sides of the cold plunge, I now suggest using a submersible pump that sits in the water so you never have to worry about priming it. And this is the ideal setup. The submersible pump pushes water to a UV clarifier where bacteria and undesirable stuff is neutralized. It then runs through a filter that captures all that junk, and clean water returns back to the cold plunge. I'm also using 3/4 inch hoses throughout, so everything is a consistent size. And the hoses are easy to insulate, so now I can run the pump continuously without worry of the water warming up. Please check the video description for links to these products. They're all on Amazon for a good price. This is the submersible pump. It's a great option and works nicely. I now suggest a UV clarifier instead of an ozone generator. It works just as well, but it's cheaper and can be safer. You can watch my video comparing them for more details. A whole house water filter like this is used in many professional cold plunge systems, and I suggest basic pleated water filters like these. Don't get the expensive ones that filter down to extremely low micron levels because they'll clog up too quickly. I keep the pump and UV clarifier on one smart plug because they always run together. The only time they're turned off is when I'm using the cold plunge. And the freezer is on a separate smart plug because it only runs a few hours at night. Otherwise, the cold plunge would end up being a frozen block of ice. You can use an app to set them as timers like this. I usually run the freezer for 3 hours at night. And you can program the plugs to be controlled by a smart switch like this. Always cut power to your cold plunge freezer and accessories when you're using it. If you've set up your cold plunge differently after watching my other cold plunge videos, no worries, I've used all those setups and they also work. This whole process has been an experiment to try out new ideas, so do your own research and please leave a comment about what's working best for you. Thanks for taking a moment out of your busy schedule to embrace healthy, mindful practices. Please subscribe to the Hands-On Meditation channel and share it with friends. And if you haven't looked into any of the meditations or breathing exercises on this channel, please check them out.